Hello, Jason Niemier here again with another Photoshop tutorial for you. What we're going to talk about today is a little bit on eye retouching, on how to get those hot spots off of those glasses and things like that. Pretty simple, not a lot of artistic ability required here. I am using a Wacom digitizing tablet. You certainly don't need anything like that. You can do this with a mouse. This is simple, straightforward. The kind of images you want to do this to would be, snapshots taken at a wedding, images that you can't take over. Portraiture, if we get a little reflection in an eyeglass, we can always shoot that image over again. But you don't have to. You can do this too. This is pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Let me show you how it's done. Here you see we do have an image of a young lady in this wedding party here where she's got a little bit of a hot spot on her eyeglass here. So what we want to do first of all is just kind of zoom in on that area of her eyeglasses so you can get an idea. That's kind of a bad deal there. It certainly isn't very desirable. It's kind of distracting. So what we want to do is grab your polygonal lasso tool, and we want to come up here and we want to grab a fairly good portion of her good eye. Seems pretty straightforward, isn't it? Now we want to come up here and we want to hit Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. Now what did that do? Well, that just put another eye right on top of her other eye. So pretty straightforward so far. Now all we want to do is come down to Free Transform and flip it horizontal. Pretty easy. Now you can kind of see where I'm going here. All we really need to do now is match up this eye with the other eye. And what I like to do that, because it's on a separate layer now, we can just make sure that you can't see it in there, but it's there, and turn the opacity down of that eye so it's barely visible. Come back up here and grab your Move tool again. Slide that eye over the other one. Now we're going to have to come back in and free transform it one more time, and just you can notice the little rotate arrows right there. My cursor turned into rotate arrows. That's what we need to do. We need to lift this corner up. So just touch it to the screen and just lift the corner of that eye up, trying to match the underlying eye. That's the key here. See there? We're still not quite where we need to be yet. It needs to be turned up just a little bit more. So we'll take that, turn that up just a little bit more. I kind of almost like to do it when it's not over top of it, just so I can get the angle right. And then we can reintroduce the eye right back where it needs to be. Just kind of move it around till it looks real good. You can mess with that opacity slider until you're convinced that that's where it needs to be. And then just turn it all the way up. Yeah, let's leave it down for a second. Let's grab the eraser tool now. Make sure you have a nice dithered brush. Turn the opacity down to about 36-37%. And what we want to do is just start getting rid of this and blending that eye in. We want to blend it in real nice around here. Get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Now watch out for that eyeglass frame on the top there. We don't want to reintroduce too much more of that hot spot that we were trying to eliminate. Turn the opacity back up. See how we're doing. Just blended it in there ever so carefully. I think we might have took off too much there. You can always go back into that histories box and see where you're at. I'm going to turn the brush down just a little bit so I can reintroduce some of the frame there. We don't want to get too much of that hot spot in there, but if we get a little bit, that'll look more natural. There, I'll bring some of it back so we're seeing the reflection on the glasses but not over the eye. Now with that, I kind of like it. Let me pull back out so you can see the overall effect. Not nearly as distracting, is it? Looks great, and it was a simple fix. I'm Jason Niemier. Let me show you something else. Now here we're going to see where we can apply that technique to both eyes. For an example, if you have an image where you have a blink due to camouflage from a birthday party, wedding portrait, or anything where you just really can't take the image over, but the rest of the image looks great. I mean, if the eyes were open, it'd be a fine picture. So we can fix that by borrowing the eyes from another photo from the same photo shoot. Pretty simple stuff. I've done this on weddings before where we have lots of blinks. For one reason or another, their eyes just aren't used to the flash. And this is a pretty simple fix too. So as you can see, I'm just going to reach up here again, and I'm going to grab the polygonal lasso tool, and this is my daughter, by the way. We're just going to grab a fairly good portion of both her eyes at the same time. Go right across the bridge of the nose there. Grab that again. I'm going to go up here and hit copy. And we're just going to close that image. Now we're going to come over to this image, and we're going to hit edit, paste. And that brought her eyes right up in there. Now you can see the original was in the background. Actually, I did airbrush her eyes shut on this image because, well, I don't have a picture of her with her eyes shut. So for our purposes, this is going to work just fine, however. You can see that that original image was on the background, and here's the pasted image over here that we just brought in. Now we need to size that up so it can go right over her eyes, and then we have to make a horizontal adjustment because this one's actually tipped down a little more on the right than her actual eyes. So we'll go ahead, hit edit, and the free transform, and we'll get real close here before we have to zoom in. And hold your shift key down now when you're using that free transform button so you do it proportionally and don't mess it all up. And go ahead and hit apply there. That looks pretty close. Let's go back in and get it one more time. Might have to get it a couple times to get it right, and then adjust the angle. Again, I like to do this when it's not on the eye so you can get the angle right. Hit apply again, and now bring it down over the eyes. Let's adjust the opacity just to see where we're at. And now I'll zoom in a little bit, see if we can get this dialed in just perfect. We'll zoom in, and they do look a little bit big yet, so let's free transform them back down. Just hold your shift key in, remember, grab that corner and just make them a little bit smaller. This is pretty simple, and just make sure the tear ducts line up. Get the tear ducts right. This is why we keep the eyes together, so we can do it a little easier that way. I think they need to be just a little bit smaller. Once you got the tear ducts right, then you're not changing the face, you know. You don't want to do that. That looks really good to me. I'll go ahead and turn the opacity back up so we can start blending them in. I'll go grab the eraser tool. Now again, I'd like to get a nice dithered brush, and I like to keep it about, not much larger than the diameter of a pencil. Gives me a little bit more control. And turn the opacity down to about 35, 36, 37, anywhere in there. And it just allows you to blend in everything around the eyes. Go ahead and just blend in back to the old eyebrows. If you want to turn the opacity up just a little bit more and get rid of all the stuff that you don't need. And we'll make the brush just a little bit bigger to make this go a little bit faster. And then I'll turn it down to get the rest here in a minute. This blending process works with just about any kind of blending thing that you want to do, adding one image on top of another like this. I love doing it this way. It just works really well for me. And now I'm going to turn that opacity down a little bit more and just kind of blend around the edge. Yeah, that's looking real good. Blend it around there. Oh yes. There, she's got her eyes back open again, and they look fantastic. You bet. Let's pull back out. Look at there. There they are. Let me show you that original again. We'll pop back up. Eyes closed. Kind of looks like she's blinking, don't it? And there they are. Works great every time. My name's Jason Niemier. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for watching.